The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your commander-in-chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. So a couple of items to knock down today on this beautiful championship Sunday. As we talked about yesterday, I'm looking out my window right now, probably at about 6 to 8 inches of the white. Again, hopefully you are inside, you are safe, and you are warm. For those of you in tropical climates, damn you. I'm jealous, and enjoy the weather because it is frigid outside. But bittersweet day today, Championship Sunday. And just a year ago, we were participating in Championship Sunday. Obviously, that is not the case. Far from it. We are now on the hunt and prowl for a defensive coordinator. We'll talk about another name to add to the litany of names and the long list of blacks that Dan Quinn continues to compile as he searches for his next defensive coordinator. But before we get to that, a couple of items that I want to knock down. The first of which is good news for some of you who may be massive fans of Al Harris. This from Diana Rossini. The Packers are hiring former Arizona Cardinals head coach Jonathan Gannon to be their new defensive coordinator. Per source, Gannon replaces Jeff Hafley in Green Bay. If you recall, we talked about this briefly. Jeff Hafley is now the head coach in Miami for the Dolphins. So that left a vacancy in Green Bay for their defensive coordinator position. That is now going to be filled by Jonathan Gannon, who also interviewed here with the Commanders. I didn't want him here. Didn't seem like he was going to come here. Again, if you have options, this is not the place that you choose, right? Again, Packers have tons of talent. You've got Micah Parsons. You've got all kinds of linebackers that are just havoc wreakers. You've got a secondary that was one of the better units in all of football this year. You're not going to choose Washington over a place like that. And I've told you, just about every single place that has a vacancy in terms of defensive coordinator has at least one guy you can build around or one guy you can game plan your scheme around that forces teams to have to game plan against. We don't have any of those players. So for those of you who are huge fans of Al Harris, this means he can't go back to Green Bay, right? Place he played many years of his career. That might have been attractive to him. They may have been attracted to him. That's not going to happen now. And so, again, if you are among those who want to see Al Harris get an opportunity here, this is good news for you. One more place off of the table for Al Harris to become the defensive coordinator of, and limiting his options and putting us in a much better spot to get him if that is someone that you are interested in. Now, as we continue to tackle in-house issues, let's talk about some things that directly affect us. The two things that I feel like you as Commanders fans out there should be rooting for in this particular game, in this particular game, just in general, you should be rooting for if you're a Commanders fan. One, we talked about this ad nauseum, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it again today, but you should be rooting for the Seattle Seahawks to lose. You should be rooting for the Los Angeles Rams to win, because I would just like to end the misery of thinking that I have a shot as a fan who wants to see Carl Scott end up here as the defensive coordinator. Just end me, put me out of my misery, take me out back, pop, put 2 in my dome and lay me down. Nice and quick, painless, okay? I don't want to keep holding out hope that Carl Scott is the guy that's going to end up getting this job. And I don't want to keep playing the song and dance of, oh, well, they're waiting on Carl Scott. Well, no, if he's available to be interviewed in person, to be given the job, we'll know if the Seahawks are no longer playing football. If their season is done, we'll know. So I would like to see that happen. Again, that doesn't apply to everyone, but again, even if you're not a Carl Scott fan and you could care less if he gets the job, you just want to know if he is the guy or not. Them losing eliminates all of the speculation. Either he is or he isn't. So that's the first thing I think Commanders fans should be rooting for today. The second, and this one you should be rooting for more than the Seahawks losing today. Honestly, that shit doesn't move me as much as this right here. Anthony Lynn. This is from the Cleveland Browns X account. Last night, we completed a head coach interview with Anthony Lynn. Now, if you guys have been keeping tabs on this, Anthony Lynn also interviewed for the Buffalo Bills job. We knew he wasn't going to get it. This one seems a little bit more attainable. Like the Browns have no direction, similar to what I just said about the Commanders' defensive coordinator position. That's the Browns' head coaching position. If you've got options, you don't want the Cleveland job. It's the least desirable job in the NFL right now of all the vacancies. Even the Raiders job is way more desirable. They've got a ton of cap space. They've got the number 1 overall pick. They can pick Mendoza if they choose. They can go in a different direction. They can do whatever they want. They have a lot of attractive qualities. They've got Max Crosby. They've got Brock Bowers. They've got all of this stuff in Vegas, plus money and the number 1 overall pick. It's a much more attractive job than the Browns, who don't have a quarterback, who are trying to figure out what to do with Deshaun Watson, who are kind of in limbo. The general manager stinks, and he's still there, but everybody else keeps getting fired. It's a mess. I said all of this to say Anthony Lynn is definitely in the running. I don't think he's going to get the job. But just like us hoping that we'd somehow land Mike McDaniel or Brian Flores, and we knew that shit wasn't going to happen, we still rooted like hell for it. You should still root like hell for Anthony Lynn to end up getting a head coaching job. Why is this important? Good question. If you are to get one of your minority employees hired somewhere else in a high-level position, meaning head coach or general manager or somewhere in the front office, you get 2 compensatory picks in the 3rd round, 1 in each of the next 2 drafts. Let me repeat myself. If you have a minority candidate that gets hired in a high-level position, meaning head coach or somewhere in the front office in another NFL organization, you get 2 compensatory picks in the 3rd round. Remember, the 3rd round is the highest compensatory pick one can receive. There's no higher round of compensatory pick than the 3rd. Even if it's the dead last pick in the 3rd round, it doesn't matter. It's a 3rd round pick, people. It's a day 2 pick. We need all the picks we can get. You would get 1 3rd round compensatory pick in 2026. You would get another one in 2027. We need the compensatory picks, people. Listen to me. This is a big deal. You should be rooting like hell that Anthony Lynn becomes the head coach of the Cleveland Browns. That should be the number 1 rooting interest that you have, is that Anthony Lynn lands that job. He's not going to, but you should be rooting like hell for it. And again, here's why. We don't have a lot of picks. We have the 7th pick in the draft. We have the 145th pick in the draft, which is a 3rd rounder. Or excuse me, we have the 71st pick in the draft, which is a 3rd rounder. We do not have a 2nd, as you know, stemming from the Laramie Tunsil trade. We do not have a 4th round pick, again, stemming from the Laramie Tunsil trade. We have a 5th round pick, 145th. We have a 6th round pick, 185th. We have another 6th rounder, 196, and we have a 7th rounder, 223rd overall. So we've essentially got 2 picks in the first 2 days, and then all the rest of our picks, similar to last year, where we had 2 day 1, and we have 2 picks in the first 2 days, and then everything else, the other 4 picks that we had were all in day 3, which is not where you want to be, right? So we could use another day 2 pick. we could use another day 2 pick. This would be great news if somehow Anthony Lynn could end up on this Cleveland Browns staff as their head coach. Again, not going to happen. Anthony Lynn's going to be right here in Washington coaching these running backs next season, but that shouldn't stop you from actively rooting for Anthony Lynn to become the next head coach of the Cleveland Browns. Let's pray that no one else wants this job, and Anthony Lynn is dying to get his hands on another head coaching opportunity, and let's hope that he ends up being their guy somehow, some way. I doubt it. Okay. We all know that he's not getting the job, but shouldn't stop you from rooting like hell for it to happen anyway. So that is the number 2 thing you should be rooting for. 1, you should be rooting for the Seahawks to lose. Again, Carl Scott may not be for everyone. That's fine. But at least you want to know, right? At least you want to put this to bed. Is he or isn't he? Are we waiting or aren't we waiting? It's an easy way to get to the bottom of this. Seahawks lose, then we'll just know. And then the second thing, and this is the chief thing that you should be rooting for, Anthony Lynn getting the head coaching job with the Cleveland Browns, which would get us 2 compensatory picks in the 3rd round, 1 in each of the next 2 drafts. We could use that like we need air to breathe. Lastly, this is why we are here today. So this is from Tom Pelissero of NFL Network. Vikings defensive pass game coordinator and defensive backs coach Daronte Jones will interview with the Commanders today for their vacant defensive coordinator position, per source. This has been validated and substantiated by multiple outlets. So Daronte Jones, another guy we've never heard of, and I'm going to be nice to Daronte for a couple of reasons. So let's talk about Daronte. 1, you can't be all gung-ho on Carl Scott like I am and then turn your nose up at Daronte Jones. They're basically the same guy, okay? Not necessarily from credentials or chops. I believe in Carl Scott because of things that I've seen, people he's coached with, things of that nature. This man coached with Nick Saban for multiple years. Again, I just believe in guys that have been well-traveled, that have been around some of the best minds to ever do it. Thus, I'm a big Carl Scott guy. I've listened to him talk. I've watched him speak. I know what he's, what his mental is. So I'm a little bit higher on Carl Scott, but I can't be all in on Carl Scott, who's never called a defensive play before, and basically turn my nose up at Daronte Jones, who is essentially the same coach in the league, just at a different team, not necessarily the same level of success, but we wanted their defensive coordinator. He's underneath him. And Daronte Jones actually has some play calling experience, albeit brief. He still called a play before in his life. So who is Daronte Jones? Defensive backs coach / defensive pass game coordinator. Same thing Carl Scott is in Seattle for the Minnesota Vikings under Brian Flores. So one of the things that we've seen with the Vikings is that they're very opportunistic. That secondary takes the football away. They've been tremendous in doing that. That secondary plays on a string a lot of times. They don't give up a lot of big plays. They take the ball away. They're a really well-coached unit, and Daronte Jones definitely deserves credit for some of that. If you're a big fan of homegrown product, Daronte Jones is your man. Homegrown, born and raised, born and bred Maryland throughout, right? This is a guy that's from Capitol Heights. This is a guy that went to Bishop McNamara in high school. This is a guy that went to Bowie State in Maryland. This is a guy that's Maryland through and through. So he's DMV. If you're team DMV, if you want to bring somebody home to the area, then Daronte Jones is your guy, right? Ultimately, he was a coordinator once upon a time for 1 year at LSU. So big-time major college football program, was not retained after that 1 year. And so he does have play calling experience. He's basically been a defensive backs coach his entire career. Was also in Canada at one point in the CFL with the Montreal Alouettes. So he's been around the block, spun it twice, been in the NFL in several different stops. But most of the time when you see Daronte Jones, he's coaching somebody's D-backs. So this is who he is. It's another one of these guys that doesn't necessarily move the needle, right? And again, it gets you. We had this conversation yesterday. Are we into the desperate territory? Have we ventured into desperation territory? That's subjective. We talked about this yesterday. So many of you had different opinions. Some people were like, no, we're just being patient, just going through, there's not and then some others were like, there's not a lot of great candidates out there, which you're not wrong. But even if there were good candidates, they don't want to come here. The ones that had cachet, their names were, buzzing in the streets. They didn't want to come here. Jonathan Gannon didn't want to come here. Brian Flores wasn't coming here. Like anybody with cachet, with any real, bargaining power, they're not coming to Washington. These are the types of guys that we have to parse through. The Daronte Joneses, the Joe Cullens, the Carl Scotts, the guys that have never done it in this league before, the guys that are hungry for an opportunity. These are the guys that we're going to have to parse through. And then the retread guys that are just hoping to get another opportunity, like a Terrell Austin, right? Those are the types of guys, the Patrick Grahams. Those are the guys we're going to have to parse through because they're hungry for another opportunity. And then you got to look at the guys that just want a chance, right? It's not a great place to be, but it's where we are, and we have to accept our fate. This is who we are. This is where we are, and you hope you hit on one of these guys, whoever the hell they decide to hire. You just hope you hit on them. That's what you hope. And I've said this already. For those of you who don't love DQ, you want him gone, guess what? One of two things is going to happen. Either he's going to hit a home run with his offensive and defensive coordinator hires, or he's going to get fired. So either way, you should just be rooting for success. And if it doesn't happen, the other thing will happen that you wanted to happen in the first place. So you're in pretty much a no-lose situation. Either the team's going to be successful because he was successful in finding guys that were competent, that excelled at the job, or he's going to get fired because he didn't find guys. And then you can rejoice in knowing that we're going to have a different head coach, one that you didn't want in the first place. So that's kind of where we are right now. Daronte Jones is going to interview for the job, homegrown product, another black that DQ is going to interview for the job. I joke and I kid about DQ loving the blacks, but again, that ratio continues to increase, doesn't it? Let me address something real quick too. Look, so because it's getting out of hand now, and I'm a relatively private guy, so I didn't feel the need to mention this, but nothing's wrong. Okay, everything's perfectly fine in my household. Okay, my wife and I are happily married. Okay, I haven't been kicked out or anything of the sort. We officially bought our first home together. I'm elated. I'm excited, but I'm also flying by the seat of my pants. It's been a whirlwind process. It's actually been a long process that's taken over 2 years, but it finally came together. Moving out was crazy. Moving in has been crazy. As you can see, I'm still trying to get stuff situated. So again, nothing's wrong. You guys don't have to worry about me. You don't have to send me prayers or anything like that. I've seen all your comments, and I'm like, okay, I got to address this. I'm fine. We just are just getting settled in, and it's a lot. It's a long process, but I couldn't be more elated. I'm on cloud 9 right now. I've worked so hard for this. My wife has worked so hard for this, and I'm truly blessed. And I got to thank you guys again, because you guys have been so instrumental in this taking place. So thank you guys for all of your support and everything that you've done to help the Louie T Network grow and blossom into what it's become, because that's helped, put me in a position and be able to do this for my family. So shout out to all of y'all for that. But nothing's wrong. Once again, everything's fine. I'm just trying to get settled in. That is it. Okay, so you don't have to wonder if, I don't want to speculate. Someone's like, I don't want to speculate, but hope everything's right in your household, in the Louie T household. Yes, it is. Everything's fine. So anyway, let's get to a word from our sponsor. We'll come back on the other side, and then we'll get to any comments you guys may have, and then I will turn you guys loose as you get ready to prepare for Championship Sunday.
Sleeper is the best way to experience and connect over sports together. It's a one-stop shop for all of your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat in the games in real time with other users, get the fastest scores, blazing fast news and alerts right at your fingertips. Play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports the way they were meant to, together. Download the #1 sports app today. Predict the hottest football stats like passing yards, receiving yards, touchdowns, interceptions, and much more to cash in on your daily fantasy football skills. Use promo code LTN and Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
All right. Big shout out to Sleeper for sponsoring this stream. They've got a 100% boost on NBA action today, a 30% boost on the NFL today. Go check them out. Use my promo code LTN to get you a 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Let's get to the comment section, see what you guys have to say, and then I will turn you guys loose and get you guys out of here. Off to Another World. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Off to Another World writes, Louie hanging out at Mobile Avenue awaiting our DC. Look, it was funny. The fellas, the Kings, we were texting, and Rio said, "Hey, did y'all get a call yet? Did they call y'all to interview for the DC job?" it feels like we interview any and everybody, man. Any and everybody with melanin, and it's crazy, man. It really doesn't matter at this point. It went from due diligence and leave no stone unturned to like, okay, guys, what are we doing now? Can we just settle in on one and keep it pushing? Like, now seriously, all jokes aside, though, I'd rather them go about it this way than interview one or two guys and then just make a hire. Like, go through the process, talk to as many candidates as possible. We may make jokes and make fun of and, cast light on the way that it's being done. But ultimately, this is what you want. You want them to be very selective in terms of who they hire. And the way you do that is by going through the process of interviewing as many people as possible to kind of figure out what you do want, what you don't want, and, seeing if you can unearth a gem. One of these guys that's never done it before could ultimately be the next big thing as a defensive coordinator in this league. And you'll never know. I remember, laughing at the Panthers for hiring Dave Canales. And even though he was a play caller the year before in Tampa Bay, it was desperate. It felt desperate. Like nobody wanted the Carolina job at the time. And so instead of them waiting and being the last one to fill their vacancy, because that was the same year that we hired Dan Quinn, they didn't wait. They hired Dave Canales because I felt like that was their way of saying, we're not going to be out here stuck with no one wanting to sit in our chair in this game of musical chairs and then really looking desperate at that point. We're going to go and give our job. It's the same thing I felt about Tennessee when they gave their job to Brian Callahan. Like, Brian Callahan didn't deserve to be a head coach. But they were like, nobody wants this Tennessee job. So instead of us waiting and waiting and waiting and then looking like no one wants our job and making us look desperate, let's just hire someone. Dave Canales turned out to be awesome. Brian Callahan turned out not to be. You just never know. And so you got to do your due diligence. One of these guys might actually end up being the next big thing. You never know. But yeah, it feels a little nasty. I'm not going to lie. This whole thing where they're just interviewing random guys we've never heard of, it feels nasty, but it may ultimately turn out to be the best. thing for this team moving forward. Reed, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you. My guy Reed writes, Bucks hire Zac Robinson. I honestly feel nothing, Lou. He seems like a very mid hire. What do you think? Is he a good fit for us? I mean, he's very solid. It's going to be a modest hire for you because he was in your division. You watched the Falcons. Their offense never moved you. But I get why they hired him. There are a lot of similarities between the Falcons offense and your offense. And in their minds, if he can get what he got out of Bijan, out of Bucky, then you've moved the needle, because Bucky Irving is the type of guy that can run it, that can catch it. And they feel like if Zac Robinson can maximize him the way that he did Bijan and unlock some of those receivers like he did, when he was healthy, Drake London was pretty damn good for the Falcons. There's a lot to like about that offense. So I think there are a lot of similarities between what you guys can put on the field and what they could put on the field. And so I think they feel like Zac Robinson can come in here and unlock some of the guys that you have. It could be a big win for the Bucs. I think his scheme fits your offensive pieces very well. And I think you're going to be pleased with what he can provide you with. I don't think he's going to necessarily move the needle for you, though. He's not a genius or anything like that. But again, he is from that Sean McVay tree-esque, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So it's going to be outside, inside zone, play action fake off of that. And again, Baker Mayfield excels in the play action fake game. So I think it's going to be a really good fit for you guys when it's all said and done. Hunter 95, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Who writes, glad you came on so I have something to listen to while I plow snow. Thank you. This whole team feels like one big question mark. I probably need to get out there and plow some myself. I'm hoping that the neighborhood comes and does it for us. I'm being lazy. I really don't want to go outside. It's really cold. But I'm going to have to put my big boy boots on, layer up, and get out there and shovel some snow. This is one big question mark. You're not wrong. We have no idea what this offseason holds for this team. It's got to be a big one. We have no idea what David Blau is going to hold for this team. He's huge in what he brings to the table. We have no idea what this defensive coordinator is going to be and who it's going to be and what that guy's going to provide. We have no idea. We have no idea what this team is going to be in 2026. Yeah, it's one big question mark. You're not wrong. You can, and again, I'm a glass half full guy, so I'm optimistic. So I'm always going to look at it from a positive vantage point. And instead of me saying it's one big question mark, I'm intrigued, right? It's all in how you phrase it. Same thing. It's the same thing as somebody saying, I'm going to take a wait and see approach. I don't know. It's the same thing. I'm just going to say that I'm intrigued. All I'm saying to you is I don't know anything, just like you don't know anything, and we just have to wait to see. But I'm just going to put a positive spin on it by saying I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by David Blau. I'm intrigued by the prospects of this offseason with all the money that we have at our disposal. And they know they have to get younger. They know they have to get more talent. And that is abundantly clear. I expect an aggressive mindset this offseason. I expect a group that goes out and gets players that are going to help fast track this thing and get us back to where we need to be. And I expect the draft to, kind of mirror some of the things that we talked about this season that we didn't have, that we need to get. I expect a pass rusher to be obtained somehow, some way this offseason. So I expect this team to be aggressive, but we'll see. We don't know. We don't know. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you, BD, for being a member of the MOBB, my guy. Barrett Downing writes, congratulations, my brother. Thank you so much, man. I really, truly do appreciate you, man. You've been with me for a long time, Barrett, man. So I really do appreciate you, my guy. Thank you so much for the support, man. Really appreciate it. King Ghidorah, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, best wishes to you and your family. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been a long time coming. The kids are so excited. They've been running around. I got to recondition them now. We've been living in, a dwelling that it was okay for them to, do all kinds of craziness on the walls and, jump around on stuff. Now it's like, hey. now I'm turning into my parents. It's like that Progressive commercial. I'm turning into my mom and hey, get your hands off the wall. Hey, don't you stay on that couch. Lord have mercy. What am I turning into? But no, I was like, no, we gonna take care of this house now. This ours. We ain't renting. This is ours. We gotta take care of it. We gotta take pride in our stuff. So that's where we at with ours right now, man. Try to rewire these kids' brains. It's not easy. Joshua Farish, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy Joshua writes, congratulations, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. I just had to kill all of the speculation because y'all were starting to do the thing that y'all do sometimes in the comment section, start making up stuff and drawing your own. And look, that's what we do here. I talk about this all the time. That's what we do here on the Louie T Network. We draw inferences. So I can't be mad at y'all for drawing inferences. You see the background. You see me on the run. I'm not posting as often as I normally do. I'm not as consistent right now. So you thinking something's wrong. Let me dispel all of that, put all of that to rest right now. Can't be mad at y'all. I've trained y'all to draw inferences. That's what we do here. Corin Smith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Corin writes, congratulations, Lou. Now you're the super and you'll be busy. I know. It was so much easier when the toilet broke. Just call maintenance, right? Just call maintenance. They'll come fix it. Now I have to fix it. I told my wife the other day because I was, obviously when you move in, you got a bunch of new stuff. You got to put it together. I'm like, I'm a handyman now. I got my toolbox. Now I got to actually buy really good tools. I told her I got to upgrade my tools. I was a novice. I was entry level. The tool set that I had was good enough to get by when you were just doing minor things, touch-ups here and there. I need some real tools now, man. I got to talk to my brother-in-law. He's a big, DIY guy. And so I got to find out what's a good set of tools because the ones I have, they're good to get you started, but they're trash. The bit strip and, it's garbage. I've already broken one of the bits already. Like, okay, all right. I remember just a quick side story. I was telling my wife this story the other day. I was in Lowe's once upon a time in my past life. And this is when I was purchasing this said tool set. And the guy in line was trying to be nice. He was like, oh, Craftsman, right? Those never worked for me. That was his way of saying, hey, that shit cheap, bro. Trust me, you don't want that. And I said, oh, yeah, nah. I was like, yeah, I don't really need it for much. So, yeah, this will do. It was nice and cheap. It was on sale. He was trying to give me a heads up like, bro, you don't want that shit. Now I see. Now it's come to light. But it's all good. It's getting the job done. I'm not going to talk shit about it. It's getting the job done, but I definitely need to upgrade my toolkit. So I am now the super. You are absolutely right. And I am already busy. You are facts on top of facts on top of facts. Good luck to you and yours. Likewise, man. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Video channel. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB who writes, Lou, video channel. You said 6 to 8 inches of the white? Yes, I did. Sounded like Pusha T. And that's what they call me. That's one of my nicknames, Pusha T. Thoughts on the new DC possibly replacing position coaches? We talked about that with the offensive coordinator, right? Like, had they hired someone outside of the building, which they did not, so they didn't have to do all of that, they still had to change the offensive line coach because of David Blau's philosophical change that was coming. And we were going from less of a gap scheme to more of a zone run blocking scheme. So, excuse me. They did change the offensive line coach, but everything else was able to stay relatively intact. The same thing can be said of the defensive coordinator position. You bring in a new DC, and he may have a different way of wanting to do things and a different way of wanting to coach it. Generally speaking, positional coaches can adjust to however you want something coached. Offensive line is a little bit different because that's more schematically based, right? What's your philosophical belief? If you got a linebackers coach and you want your linebackers to attack downhill, or you're teaching your defensive lineman to two gap instead of one gap penetrate, your defensive line coach should be able to do that, right? He should be able to teach them to two gap instead of be one gap penetrators. So I don't know if they're going to necessarily have to make any positional switches there with the coaching staff, but we'll see. Again, there is a conversation that will be had. I believe that that's a part of the conversation in these interviews. Like, are you okay with us keeping our staff intact? Again, if I've never had an offensive coordinator position, do you really think I'm going to go in there and play hardball and be like, well, if I get the job, I'm going to need to bring this great assistant coach that I have here in Minnesota? You think Daronte Jones is going to be like, well, if you're going to get me, I got a great assistants D-back coach that has to come with me or else I'm not taking the job. He ain't doing that shit. He's going to be like, yeah, no, I'm good. Whatever you got, I can work with those dudes. He wants the job. But there is a chance that they may have to they may decide they don't have to do anything. The only way they would have had to do anything is they were trying to accommodate a big fish, a Jonathan Gannon, Brian Flores, right? Someone of that ilk. If they were, a Jim Schwartz was coming in here, he might say, hey, I play, wide nine technique. I need my defensive line coach. I need Jim Washburn in here teaching the defensive line the way we get down. That's different. That ain't what we hiring, though. So I don't see that being the case. Corin Smith, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Corin, thank you for being a member of the MOBB. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Lou, would you consider the college ranks for DC? I would, but they're not. But I think that's where some of the most innovative minds exist. College football. You think about some of the best coordinators in the league, some of the young up-and-coming guys that are getting jobs now. We just saw the Ravens hire Jesse Minter. These are guys that came from college. Mike McDonald came from college, was back and forth between the Ravens and in Michigan. Like, I think your most creative, innovative defensive minds come from the collegiate ranks because you see so much in college. There's so much innovation in college. There's so much space to defend in college. You have to be really good at what you do defensively. And so, yes, I would, but that's not what they're doing. Reed, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Apparently, Baker vouched for Robinson because they worked together in LA. I remember that brief stint there. He's Baker's guy, so I guess I'm okay with it. Like I said, he got the most out of Baker in that short period of time. You're going to like him. It's not going to move the needle for you right now, but you're going to like him. There's a lot. Look, and he comes from that Sean McVay tree, as I mentioned. He's really smart. So I think a lot of the concepts that he's going to run fit your personnel. You've got among the best offensive weaponry in the NFL. He's going to be able to maximize that. So I think you're going to ultimately love the hire down the road. Right now, it's not going to really resonate with you because, again, you look at the Falcons offense and you say, they didn't really move the needle for me, but you got to also take into consideration who their head coach was and, their quarterback situation has been in a really tough spot. So I think you're going to really enjoy Zac Robinson. And, again, to your point, Baker endorsed him, so that's a good thing too. Ree, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ree writes, our defense is butt though, so we'll have to score in the high 20s every game regardless. You preach it to the choir. That's the same way we feel about our team. Our defense is straight butt cheeks, right? Straight cheeks, fresh buns right out of the oven. And so we know we got to score every week in order to win. So we're in the same boat, my friend. Ree, Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Ree, writes, Lou, love you, bro. I'm so proud of and happy for you. I appreciate that, Ree. You know you my guy, man. We've been through it, and we go way, way, way back to the days of the pointer, right? The handy dandy pointer. Like we go back like 2 flats on the Cadillac, my guy. So really appreciate you. He says, I feel like in many ways we've grown up together. I've never met you, but you're my brother. Likewise. Absolutely, man. We've been through a lot together, my guy. So shout out to you and yours, man. Really appreciate you. Abel Ambrosio, my guy, Double A. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, who writes, hey, cook out at Lou's crib. Hey, how you volunteering my spot already, man? Let me get settled in first before you start trying to volunteer my spot as the spot everybody coming to kick it at, man. Cook out at Lou's crib. Hear you. Shout out to my guy, Double A, man. Eddie B, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB. My guy, Eddie Behringer, writes, hey, Lou. What's up, Eddie? Congrats on your family's progress, man. I really, truly do appreciate that, man. And appreciate you, Eddie B. He says, I'm here in Norfolk, and the rain has already washed away our blizzard. So, my dad, I got my family still in Norfolk, too. So they basically said the same thing. And we talked about it. Me and Boss Man talked about that the rain was going to come and wash away. So, and then the temperatures aren't necessarily freezing there because Sunday, it was freezing temperatures yesterday. The temperatures are somewhere hovering around the 40s today, I believe, in the 757. So it's not necessarily going to freeze. So I think y'all might be all right. That's not the case here. It's still coming out. I think we got a little sleep going right now. So again, that hard white. So this is what that lady from yesterday, the lady I told y'all about from Massachusetts, she was telling me, hey, don't hurt your back on this. That hard white right here that's coming down. So yeah. I'm definitely staring at about a good 6 to 8 right now. Straight up. They already canceled school for the kids. My wife's out. So we hunkering down. We went to the store the stores were crazy, y'all. I went in the store Thursday and my wife was like, well, I'm just letting you know, people been telling me that there's nothing in the stores. I'm like, ain't nobody shopping where I'm shopping at, bro. Yeah, Walmart and all those places might be, Aldi, and they might be empty. I'm bougie, so I'm shopping at Whole Foods. Whole Foods was well stocked, by the way, but I don't have any Whole Foods by me. I'm a Wegmans guy. Man, Wegmans got blitzed. There was nothing on the shelves at Wegmans. I was like, God damn. Now, I was like, fortunate for me, all the stuff that was gone doesn't bother me one bit because I don't eat any of that shit. But my wife was like, what are people going to do with cheese? All of the cheese was gone. There was not one thing of cheese, not shredded cheese, not block cheese, not American, not Swiss. All of that shit was gone. My wife was like, what are they going to do with cheese? And I'm like, babe, look over to your right. And that was the deli meat section. All of that shit was gone. I said, they finna make sandwiches. What do you mean? What they gonna do with the cheese? They about to make sandwiches with that shit. So none of that. Yeah, I don't eat any of that shit. So it didn't bother me. I was able to comfortably go in there and buy all the stuff that I needed to get. But the shelves were definitely blitzed. So hopefully you got everything you needed. If you're in a place like myself where there's a chance that you could be in the house for a few days, hopefully you got everything you needed to get so that you can not have to leave the house. But really appreciate you, Eddie B, man. You guys should be straight in Norfolk, straight up. Y'all should be good. Timothy Swindell, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Timothy writes, 7 down to 13. And for 13 and 30, talent might be gone. We'll see. I want them to stay at 7 because I feel like something elite is going to still be there. Not maybe the thing that I want in particular. You guys know who I want at 7. Don't think he's going to be there. that win against the Eagles might have cost us an opportunity to draft him, but it is what it is. But we got to start getting elite stuff. You know, the yes, we need talent. Yes, we need a lot of positions, but we also need elite stuff, man. That's our problem. I just went through the last 2 days, yesterday and today, just basically telling you we don't have anything elite. We don't have a guy that teams have to game plan or know where he is on the field at all times defensively. We lack elite level talent. We need one of those guys. And maybe there's a thought process of just taking more shots at the dartboard and you can hit an elite prospect in the second round or third round, et cetera. And that's true, but you're more likely to hit one of those with a top 10 pick. We earned this top 10 pick. I'm not interested in trading back out of it and missing out on something potentially elite. I think something will be there. I've been told that this is not a great draft. Again, I don't know. I haven't done any work, but I've been told that this is not a great draft. And as guys continue to go back to school, it's sucking the life out of this draft even more so. Dante Moore going back to school was bad for us because he was going to be one of the guys that came off the board that was going to push some talent down to us. So it's getting even thinner, right? It's getting thinner and thinner. So moving back to 13 doesn't really appeal to me. And I'm definitely not looking to move back to 30. I mean, you'd have to give us king's ransom to get us to move back that far. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Barrett Downing, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes, in Cali, Lou, but I'm on the way with the snow shovel. It's 65 here. Whew. Enjoy that 65, bro. And I know normally when you in Cali and you get to 65, that's jacket weather for y'all, right? Y'all cold at 65. I'm gonna tell you something crazy. It had been so cold these last couple of weeks. In the morning, it'd be single digits, 12 degrees, 18 degrees, shit like that, right? Because we get up crack of dawn to get the kids to school. So we had a 50-degree day. Like, I want to say it was Wednesday this past week. And so it was like 40 degrees in the morning. Man, that 40 felt like 75, bro. And that 50 felt like 80, bro. Normally I'm one of these dudes. Once it hits sub 50, I'm cold. Man, 40, I went outside with a little thin ass, pullover, and I'm like, man, it feels good outside. Man, it's 40 degrees. It felt like 75. So 65 right now would feel like 90. Okay. Stay where you at. Stay in the warmth, my man, and enjoy it. Don't come to the East Coast. You don't want none of this. Because I'm telling you, if you venture one step into the East Coast, Midwest, and get any of this white on you, you're taking it back with you, bro. And you'll be to blame for why it's snowing out on the left coast. You don't want any parts of this. You don't want no parts of this, man. Steer clear. Ree, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Ree writes, did you see Bale throwing shade at Kevin Stefanski? Your thoughts? No, I didn't see. Bake. You mean Bake. Yes, I did see that. I was like, I don't know who the hell Bale is, so no, I didn't. Yes, I did see him. And did you see the rebuttal from the left tackle? I don't know why I can't think of his name. But yeah, Bake basically said, I'm still waiting for a phone call from this dude. I ain't got no text, no phone call, no nothing on why they got rid of me. And the tackle basically was like, well, last time I checked, communication is a two-way street. And you could have picked up the phone, this, that, and the third. And I'm like, nah, not in this particular situation. Bake was like, I was the one wronged. They should have, I didn't want to leave. They pushed me out the door. So they should have been calling me, not the other way around. But that shit's over with. But yeah, Bake definitely is in his feelings because he didn't think that he should have been pushed out of the door in Cleveland, and it did happen really quickly. But it got bad in Cleveland. People forget that shit got real bad for Bake in Cleveland, like really, really bad. it all started with them hiring Freddie Kitchens, and Bake started overstepping his boundaries, and then they got rid of Freddie Kitchens. In comes Stefanski. Bake wins that first year. They go to the playoffs. They smoke the Steelers. They were this close to beating the Chiefs. And then after that, shit just went downhill. And Bake couldn't stay healthy. He wasn't playing well. And they just got his ass. They got rid of his ass, man. It's crazy. So I know, I get why he's a little bit disgruntled. I get it. Yes. I did see it. I knew what you meant once I read it again. I knew you meant Bake. Yeah, that's interesting because now they play each other twice a year. Now you'll get to see him twice a year. So should be really, really interesting to see if he puts a little bit more sauce on that. Maybe that'll even get y'all a primetime game against them, even though we were always good for a Bucks-Falcons game on national television, and y'all lived up to the hype last year on the Thursday nighter. The last 2 years, y'all had Thursday nighters that were just epic. The Kirk Cousins walk-off 2 years ago on a Thursday night when he threw for 500 yards in the overtime thriller. And then last year, they came from behind and got y'all again. So y'all good. We good for a Bucks-Falcons thriller on Thursday night. And I think this adds a little intrigue to it. So I guess we'll be signing up for another Bucks-Falcons Thursday nighter this year as well. Jay, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Jay writes, Giants about to have Leonard plus Downs. Damn, Louie. And we'll see what they're going to do. We'll see what, who they hire, how they go about filling out their staff. They might draft Caleb Downs. We'll see. This is the part that sucks about beating the Eagles. We were in front of them. We could have controlled all of this. Now we're at the mercy of all the teams ahead of us to see what they decide to do with their picks. So, we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. Off to another world. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling it up. Who writes, is LT recording from a homeless shelter? LOL. Welcome to home ownership. Get a snowblower, garage freezer, and home improvement grunt. Yeah, I was asking my wife, do we need a freezer in the garage? She's like, not yet. I think we're going to ultimately have to get a deep freezer. I thought about a snowblower this morning. I literally said, hey, I'm getting too old for this shoveling shit. Get me a snowblower. Start blowing this shit away. You on to something, bro. Now, I don't know if the snowblower works for this hard white, but that soft, powdery soft white, yeah. Blow that shit right out of right into the neighbor's yard. So I think that's a very wise and smart investment that I think I'm going to go ahead and take advantage of. Next Black Friday, that's probably what I'll be looking for. It's a nice, good, I don't want to say cheap. I need a good snowblower. Thanks for the tip. I was thinking that this morning. That's crazy. You brought it up. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Double up. Thank you for doubling up. Who writes? Lou! Thoughts on McCarthy with the Steelers? We need some NFL talk from you when you get settled in. Congrats. I know, man. I miss talking to y'all. All these hires, I've had so much that I wanted to say about them, and I just haven't had, the time or the space to do it. But yes, I love the McCarthy hire for various reasons. One, and I think I mentioned this to you guys yesterday. One, it means that Rodgers is going to be back with the Steelers next year, because in my mind, this is how I envision this going. The Steelers, the draft is in Pittsburgh this year, right? What do the Steelers need more than anything else? A quarterback. So to me, it feels inevitable. Just like the Packers, the draft was in Green Bay. They haven't drafted a receiver in 50,000 years. And what do? They take a first-round receiver. Of course they're going to do that. Steelers need a first-round quarterback. They're going to draft one. But they need a bridge to that quarterback. Aaron Rodgers can remain that bridge for you. Rodgers, I think he still wants to play. He wasn't going to play for anyone else other than either Tomlin or McCarthy. So they're not doing this just for the sake of being able to keep Aaron Rodgers, because this is temporary, right? But McCarthy is going to be a huge he's going to be huge in developing a young quarterback like he did Rodgers. And I think they're going to draft the kid from Alabama to be their quarterback because he'll be available at their draft pick. So I see them spending that first round pick. He won't have to play because Rodgers will be there. He'll get to learn from Rodgers. And then I think this is why it's such a great hire. McCarthy loves Pittsburgh. He loves the Steelers. He's a lifer. He grew up there. His parents, his dad used to take him to games. He's professed his love for the Steelers. He loves the Steelers more than he does his own kids. He loves the Steelers more than he loves his own kids. And this is absolutely his dream job. I remember when he was with the Cowboys, they went to play the Steelers on a Monday night, and they did a whole piece on him going back home and what it meant, and that his family was going to be there, and it was a great experience for him. And every game that the Steelers play on national television, they put a shot in the press box, and Mike McCarthy is always there. He's probably still got season tickets. He probably owns one of those suites. He loves the Steelers, bro. And, you know, they're a family-oriented organization, so it makes so much sense. Why not hire one of our own, a guy that will die for this organization? Mike McCarthy loves the Steelers, bro. And, you know, they don't want to hire another guy. They have to do this for another 20 years. Well, McCarthy's still young enough to where he'll be their head coach for the next 15 years. And, yeah, I think it's a good hire for them. It's so Pittsburgh Steelers. It's so Pittsburgh Steelers. Off to Another World. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Off to Another World writes, should be in South Africa. Make your way out, LT. I'm good right here where I'm at, man. I just got here. I haven't even settled in yet. Let me settle in right here where I'm at, man. Try to ship me off to a whole another continent. Let me settle in right where I'm at right now. Hey, Scotty! Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Who writes, when would the Kings ride again? My guess would be this week sometime. This past week, as you could imagine, was crazy for me. And then there really wasn't a ton to talk about. We still could have got up. And that was, I partly blame myself because I didn't approach them, you know, because they probably was like, yo, Lou moving. They knew. And so they probably was like, we just going to get him the space he need to get everything situated. If I would have approached them and been like, hey, y'all trying to get up this week, they probably would have been like, oh, yeah, for sure. So the ball's probably in my court. I just need to hit them up and see what's a good day for them. And you'll definitely hear from us this week, though, without a question, without a doubt. Video channel. Thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. My guy, Video channel, writes, it's lion season. Believe half of what you see, none of it what you hear, even if it's spat by me, your boy, Louie T. Where you at? He said, where you really at? All love. This is the truth. You can take this one to the bank. This is not a lie here. This is not a barrage. This is not a fib. I'm truly in my new dwelling. So I'm gonna get my life together, though. Y'all can be assured of that. But this is what it's gonna look like for another, week or so, probably. I ain't gonna hold you. I got so much stuff to do around here. Get here it is. As Corin said, I'm the super now. As Corin Smith said, I'm the super now. So I gotta fix everything. So I think that I'm a selfless guy, so my office will be the last place that I put together, to be honest with you. I want to make sure everybody else is comfortable first before I worry about my setup. So I'm going to make sure everybody else is good and situated before I worry about me. So it's going to probably look like this for another week or so, to be honest. But I appreciate y'all though, man. I really do. Door Gunner, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Thank you for being a member of the MOBB, my guy, Door Gunner. Do I need to sing? Where's our guy at? Get him howling at the moon. I kid, man. I don't want no smoke. Lou recording from the same hostage house as Ed Oliver. 70s here in Florida. Hey, look, man. Don't be sending no shots at my guy, Ed, man. Shout out to my guy, King Shiggity. It's all good, man. It's all love. Enjoy the 70s, bro, in Florida. But I'd much rather be cold here in VA than live in a different country like Florida. Florida is pure anarchy. You guys, bless your hearts. All of you who live in Florida, my guy Reed, you, Florida is a whole nother country, bro. Might as well be another continent. Pure chaos and anarchy in Florida. And you got to deal with all those hurricanes and tropical storms and all that shit. I'm good. But this is when Florida is at its best, right? When you can look outside and be like, well, you got a nice hot cup of coffee or tea, looking out your window, seeing the sun, saying, 70s and with a slight breeze. Wish I could relate. But I don't have any of those issues you guys have, and take another sip of your coffee, right? Yeah, enjoy it. This is when Florida is at its best here. When everybody else is miserable and cold, you guys are nice and warm. Give me San Diego. That's what I've been told. San Diego. Give me San Diego instead. I don't want to move that. I don't want to move to the West Coast. I don't want to move to the South either. I'm good right where I'm at. Anyway, I digress. Lang Hughes, thank you for the super chat. Greatly appreciate you. Lang Hughes writes, let's say we're waiting for Carl Scott. For the sake of the argument, if the team was just sitting around and not interviewing, they'd be getting killed for that too. Facts. Again, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I don't have an issue with them doing what they're doing. It just, I'm not gonna lie to you, it feels like the optics of it feels desperate. But ultimately, they're doing the right thing. They're doing the right thing. So I feel like they're doing their due diligence. And to some of you guys' points, there are not a lot of great candidates out there. And then any of the ones that are, again, their names have cachet, they're not interested in this job. So they're doing the right thing. And if they had been mum this entire time waiting on Carl Scott, we would be like, what the hell's going on with the defensive coordinator search, right? So yes, you're absolutely spot on. You're absolutely 100% spot on, Lang Hughes. Anyway, that's the last super chat. So I'm going to let you guys get out of here. I appreciate y'all kicking it with the kid. Look forward to chopping it up with y'all later on today. We got 2 championship games. If you're interested, I'll be here to break them both down. If you're not, we'll be back Monday. Unless something happens with this team and their defensive coordinator search today, we'll be back tomorrow talking about it. Anything that has anything to do with the Commanders, directly or indirectly, we'll be back here rapping about it. Stay safe, stay bundled up, stay inside if at all possible. If you're on the East Coast, Midwest, all of that. If you're enjoying some great tropical weather, enjoy some of it for me. All right. Anyway, that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys next time. Until then, you guys have a good one. Take care. God bless. Peace.